Hey everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're not going to do a deck. We're going to do what I call I hate to use the term staples, EDH staples. I really do. But let's face it, they exist. I firmly believe that every EDH deck that I have, I try to build differently, and I try to maximize that commander, what I'm trying to do with that specific deck. That being said, there are a bunch of cards that just keep popping up. Soul Ring. I guess we'll start with the mana rocks. Soul Ring, more decks than not need it. I mean, I hate to say it. Soul Ring is great. There's a reason why they put one of these in every commander product that they have. It's outstanding. It's been around forever. It's not worth a ton of money, but it is. When you can turn one Soul Ring into any 2 artifact, it's amazing. Soul Ring, it's a great card. Almost all decks can use it. Colored, we have the Gilded Lotus. Now, I do believe that every Gilded Lotus that I own are in decks. And I have quite a few decks. But the Gilded Lotus, what I love about it is it does colored mana. So you can use this in your 2 and 3 and 4 color decks because it's a mana of any color and it's 3 of them. So that helps quite a bit. Speaking of multiple colors, come on Wizards, I do not understand why this was not in every single 16 deck that there was. By 16, I mean the Commander 16. We got 4 color generals. We got 5 different decks. Only one of them had the Chromatic Lantern in them. And I believe they all should have them. Anyway, it's a great mana fixer. It's a mana rock by itself. It gives all your lands tap for whatever color you want. It's beautiful. Speaking of tapping for whatever color you want. Well, that's how you can tell the difference between a rare and a common, isn't it? They both cost the same thing. They both give you whatever color you want. But this one fixes all your lands. And this one is just a worse Darksteel Ingot. Now, because we are talking about our mana rocks, it would be just an oversight not to talk about the Unwinding Clock. The Unwinding Clock is essential in a lot of decks that rely on artifacts for mana. They rely on the artifact tutors, anything, swinging and blocking. Unwinding Clock, the ability to untap all your artifacts during every single untap step. It helps out things like Mana Vault and Grim Monolith and Basalt Monolith. Artifacts that say they don't untap as normal. This is what you need. Now, for monocolor decks, I say monocolor decks, I guess we could also go with, I think I only use these in single color decks. But I've seen some people use them in 2 color, where one color is just way more dominant than the other. But the Gauntlet of Power costs 5, and the Caged Sun costs 6. And the difference here is the Caged Sun only works for you. The Gauntlet of Power works for anybody that meets those criteria. Now, there is a third one called Extraplanar Lens. I would show it, but I honestly don't have one. That's the tip of my hand. Extraplanar Lens, you imprint a land, and the land, whenever a land of that name is tapped for a color, it produces an additional. What a lot of people do with Extraplanar Lens, though, is because if I put a Plains on it, then everybody that taps a Plains is going to get double mana. So I'll use snow-covered Plains, because the odds of everybody else running snow-covered Plains, pretty slim. Anyway, that's our mana. And we got to talk about not having a maximum hand size. Library of Leng was the very first one that gave it to us. It's beautiful. Then they came with Spellbook, cost us 0. Tried to simplify the card a little bit. You can see that we've got 1 line of text versus 800. But Library of Leng does do a lot of things, like if something forces you to discard, you can choose discard top of your library. If something would make you discard randomly, you get to, Library of Leng is worth that 1 mana difference there. It's a great card. Now, Vincer's Journal. Vincer's Journal. A lot of folks play this one EDH. I know I do. I had to look through a deck to actually pull this one out. The Vincer's Journal, you don't have a max hand size. In the beginning of your upkeep, you gain a life for each card in your hand. If you've got a heavy card drawing engine, this may be something to think about. While we're on mana, viewers of my channel here, y'all know these two. Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds, bar none, 180 something decks up here, and I am going, every single one of them run Evolving Wilds and a Terramorphic Expanse. There's no reason not to. These are, in EDH, these are perfect. These are perfect EDH cards. Now, they're not Zendikar fetches. Your lands do come into play tapped. They're getting basic lands. But the ability to thin your 99 card deck, even one card, is going to help. The ability to fix your mana in your 2 or 3 color deck. FYI, even if you're running 5 colors, always run basics of some sort. There are a lot of Punisher mechanics that punish us for not running basics. The makers of this game want us to run basics. And Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, I can't say enough about them. Love them to death. And of course, we got the Reliquary Tower, the no max hand size land. This was just, I know I stroked when they printed this in Conflux. It was amazing. We got a spell book on a colorless land. Happy days. And the Command Tower was another. This is whatever you need. This taps for any color. There again, it's beautiful. Now, Urborg. Yeah, I'm still talking about colorless stuff here today. Urborg, I've got in here. I've got Urborg, but I opted not to include Emira. Urborg is a mana fixer. If you've got 2 or 3 colors, and one of them is black, you should just about play Urborg. Urborg is amazing, and I've actually run Urborg in mono white decks because it is colorless. There's no black mana symbol on here, and Karma, doing a little Karma combo where everybody takes the damage for each swamp they've got, but my Urza's armor protects me. Ha ha ha. But the beautiful part about Urborg is the table only needs one, really. I mean, if somebody plays an Urborg, hey, it's all good. Nykthos. Love me some Nykthos. I think I'm up to 20-something because they're just so dang cheap and they're so good. A lot of times, you will get, even in multiple color decks, you'll be surprised how many mana symbols of a certain color you have out there. I love me some Nykthos. It's easy to get. I think this was trying to be the fixed version of the Cradle or the Academy, whatever. Don't care. It's actually, I think it's a lot more similar to the Cabal Coffers, but since you got to pay 2 mana and tap it, love it. Love me the Nykthos. More times than not, it'll produce more mana than it takes to do it. Now, let's talk about equipment, because some equipment we gotta have. We got the 4-pack of Keep My General Safe. We all know these. Lightning Greaves. Lightning Greaves was amazing. The problem with Lightning Greaves, though, is it has Shroud. Now, yes, Shroud is a problem. We thought Shroud was the greatest thing since sliced bread when we first got it. However, Shroud keeps you from doing anything to it, like equipping other equipment. If I've got Lightning Greaves on my general and I'm trying to Voltron him up because, I don't know, he's just that way. I'm trying to Voltron up to my general and get a win, or I can't do anything to him because I have got Lightning Greaves on him. Now, it's good in decks where you don't try to target your guy, but then they made a fixed version, a hexproof version, which is really good. Now, it costs the same, the equip cost is 1 more, which is still 1 mana to equip. I believe that's worth it for the difference in Shroud and Hexproof. Now, in decks that it really matters, I'm going to run both. Memnarch, running both. Whisper Silk Cloak now, unblockable in Shroud. That is worth some 3. 3 and 2. Love me some unblockable, because there are times when you just got to punch through with your general and win. Now, I run the Mask of Avacyn index where my general is my win condition, and that's what I've got to do, and I've got to have them out there. It's a 4th copy. That's essentially all it is, because I'm going to run them in probably that preference order. If I just, it'd be nice to have my general, I'll probably run these 2. If I'm going to win with combat damage, I'm going to run these. If it's my only way to win and I have to have it, then I'll run the 4-pack. There's some equipment, the Skull Clamp. I run Skull Clamp in a lot of decks, Saprolings, Elves, Goblins, just because it is an amazing card drawing engine. I'll strap this on an Elf or a Goblin in a heartbeat. Hey, Servo guy, I got this hat I want you to wear. Trust me, it fits. But Skull Clamp's good for drawing some cards. Darksteel Plate, here again, if you've got to protect your general, if you're in a board wipe meta, good card to have. Now these 2, I could, there's a lot of equipment. They're all really good. Everybody knows sort of something and something. They're all amazing. We all know that. And I'm pretty sure we all also know that this one is amazing. I've tried to avoid saying the name. Some people say Jitte, some people say Jit. I tend to sigh every time I see it, because I don't know that I have a Jit in a deck, in any of these decks up here at all. But Argentium Armor, what if I told you this actually says equipped creature becomes an Eldrazi? Essentially, that's what it does. +6/+6, and then when it attacks, Vindicate. Seems good. Now we're getting into the regular artifacts. Now, we can't talk about EDH staples and colorless without talking about Sensei's Divining Top. This card's been rocking forever. Nobody really liked Kamigawa. It did the worst since Wizards has started doing market research. Kamigawa scored the worst, and has ever. Kamigawa did give us some really good cards. We got Sensei's Divining Top, which I love. The ability in EDH for repeated shuffle effects make this card so much better. Darksteel Forge, of course. If you're heavy artifacts and you've got all these other ones, you might as well run the Forge. Ashnod's Altar is an engine that just, it just needs gas. That's it. So many combos are cornerstoned around the Ashnod's Altar. The ability to sack a creature and get 2 colorless mana is outstanding. In Enduring Renewal, I've even seen people cast Stormherd, swing with it, kill one person, and then sack them all. Crazy stuff. Ashnod's Altar is really good. Now, Panharmonicon is probably the newest card to this little list I've got here. Panharmonicon, I believe. How many creatures and artifacts do you play that have an enter the battlefield trigger? Think about that. Panharmonicon. I love it. I think I may have said that wrong, but love Panharmonicon. It's a great card. Here again, every copy I have is in some kind of deck. I think right now I'm actually running 4 times Panharmonicon in my standard deck for the Standard Showdown, because I think we got one more week of that. And of course, Coat of Arms. Tribes are a thing. A lot of times people will do tribal and not even know it. Of course, everybody's got the elf and the goblin deck, like I said, and Y'all have seen my griffins and mirror and golems, but even one card, as I said with Stormherd, Stormherd's a really good card, and Coat of Arms takes Stormherd from killing one person to killing the table. Everybody. Don't care how many there is. It's even the Endless Ranks of the... Or not Endless Ranks of the Dead. Army of the Damned. You get the, whatever the card is, you get 13 2/2 zombies. It's crazy, yo. I just don't get it. Why? Now, granted, Coat of Arms is a double-edged sword. It helps your opponents a lot, too. You can always opt not to play it if your opponent has, super overcommitted his knights to the board, or I don't know. But that's what was on my mind this morning, was just EDH staples. I did the colorless cards. I know there's a bunch of cards here that I've missed, but these are just the ones that pop up in my head. I will, as I said, I love EDH. Everything. I looked through all the spoilers. We're just starting to get the Ether Revolt spoilers. Some of those are really crazy. The one board wipe that says, wipe the board and drop Lily is amazing. But that's what I got for right now. I appreciate you watching. Be sure to comment. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Tell me what you'd like to see. I appreciate y'all watching. And I'm going to go shuffle and cut. Thank you.